Bethenny Frankel, the reality star, she's in the news talking about how her POTS is totally out of control. It's creating a lot of interest in POTS, but it's also causing some confusion.
Yeah, I would say that nobody really has a nobody I've met has a classical presentation of POTS.
Mm.
And we'll dig more into it, but there's a lot of different ways with which it can present. But I can tell based on this clip and what she's sharing on social media that there is a lot that she and especially her doctors don't know about POTS. And we're going to blow this case and the lid wide open on POTS today. So here we go, everybody.
I am messed up. I am not doing that great. I'm so dehydrated and riddled with aches and pain. I've gained like 4 pounds while being here because my body's trying to hold on to any water it can. I wake up like every 2 hours in such pain and dying of thirst. My doctor said it's definitely connected to this POTS syndrome that I have.
Bethenny really represents a lot of people out there. I mean, it's not like she's a special severe worst case. She's just talking out about it, which I'm really grateful for. But there are millions and millions of Bethenny Frankels that are in our audience right now that need to know you can turn this around. But I want to talk more about the hormonal component here and why people with POTS don't get the help they need. Because when we're talking about adrenals, adrenal insufficiency and adrenal fatigue, I'm going to slow it down a little bit because I know it's a lot are conventionally trained doctors. None of the doctors that you're paying insurance to go see have any training on what adrenal fatigue is. And
No one has ever mentioned it. And I mean, I know so many of us have been going to all of the doctors out there for many years. And has anyone ever mentioned to you, oh, maybe we need to look into what stage adrenal fatigue you're in? Because I know it never got mentioned to me.
yeah, I was actually we were writing a blog recently and it was about adrenals. And I was talking about how, most of the time when you go and you ask the doctor to draw blood for hormones, you get told you don't need to test your hormones. Now, think about another layer of this. You go and you say, I need to get a blood draw to check my adrenals. Well, according to your endocrinologist, gynecologist, and primary care provider, the only problem that adrenals can have is all or none, meaning crazy ass high or nothing, which is Cushing's and Addison's.
Mm.
If you are anywhere in between, which is what I call adrenal fatigue, that's not a real problem. It doesn't exist. You're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and you don't deserve or need to get testing. And here's the other problem. Even if they drew blood for you, blood testing, by the way, is not the best way to actually look at the patterns of adrenal fatigue.
Mhm.
So that's the problem is you beg and beg and beg. They test the cortisol, one cortisol, and then they say, oh, there's no problem with your adrenals. But the problem is these hormones have patterns.
Mhm.
And depending on the time of day, the pattern of those hormones are different. And so you can look at somebody who's supposed to be like, let's say up and down like this. But then if they're flatline, what does that mean? If they're up and down like a W shape, what does that mean? If they're actually the inverse where it goes up at night, what the hell does that mean? Well, it's causing those patterns are completely different. The treatment for those, as far as lifestyle supplementation, totally different. And then the symptoms can be very similar, but the treatment options are different. And then how quickly they get to the outcomes is also very different. So there's so many layers of being shit out of luck with adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get the help, and it seems like you're going to be falling through the cracks, essentially, like everybody else in the medical world who is dealing with POTS. You're not getting the help or the relief you need.
If you know somebody else who's dealing with this, tag their name in the comment section right now. That'd be super duper helpful. I love to have more people learn about this. And for goodness sake, someone tag Bethenny Frankel in this. This is a completely solvable problem.
Yeah, if you were going to speak to Bethenny Frankel right now directly, what would you tell her?
Bethenny, this is solvable within the next couple of weeks.
If you'd like more information about the 5 pillars or ways to connect with the Transform team, just put a comment in our chat and a member of the team will get with you.
Thanks, everybody.